West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The Spot, Winnie Mays, is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The Spot, Winnie Mays, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
On Coyote News, campus Democrats took on Republicans last week.
Plus, students got the chance to sit down with the local police. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Sierra Prue.
And I'm Philip Larson. We'll have those stories and more, but first, an ongoing investigations revealed more than 80 South Dakotan accounts are used for stashing money in secretive trusts. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists is reporting on millions of leaked documents. The project's called the Pandora Papers. A legislative task force has held meetings to update trust laws and help the state keep the program attractive to trust clients and businesses. The reports show trusts in South Dakota have more than quadrupled over the past decade. It also lists 2 Sioux Falls trust companies with 7 clients accused of abuse and corruption.
A new campus art exhibit sheds light on a dark time in South Dakota history. Dakuwe Alakota, word that translates to why in English, is an educational exhibit focusing on the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre. Organized by the Center for American Indian Research and Native Studies, the exhibit consists of visual art, poems, and songs by 47 Lakota artists. The structure of the exhibit organizes the words of Lakota who were there in 1890 into 7 sections, exploring the time before, during, and after the massacre, as well as the legacy of Wounded Knee. The exhibit can be seen on the 2nd floor of the library throughout the month of October. South Dakota celebrates the Native American Day holiday on Monday.
College Democrats and Republicans agreed on more issues than disagreed at a recent debate. The 2 parties were represented last week at the USD Political Science League debate, as Coyote News' Kate Cromer reports.
Students gathered inside of Old Maine's Farber Hall to attend the annual PSL debate. Topics included election security, COVID-19 regulations, Medicaid expansion, and climate change. Audience members were able to ask their own questions via Yik Yak. Despite being on opposite ends of the political spectrum, the debaters found common ground on most of the issues that were discussed.
But I love this event because it's issues that relate directly to college students that are talked about by people going through the same things as them every day. So all of the debaters on stage are waking up for their 8 a.m. the next morning, or they're writing papers the same night, but they're talking about issues that affect everyone. And so that kind of accessibility, and especially bipartisanship, just hearing both issues right when you come into college is incredibly important, and I'm glad it was really well attended tonight.
Republican Noah Grable says free speech on college campuses is important, and he's also glad to see so many students interested in the debate process. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Kate Cromer.
Thanks, Kate. The Political Science League meets bi-weekly on Wednesdays.
The Student Government Association has passed Senate Resolution 7, a resolution of no confidence in the Student Federation of South Dakota. Sponsor and Senator Caleb Wayland says there are over 10 bylaws that are not met in the South Dakota Student Federation by the current leadership. The FDA advocates on behalf of South Dakota students. The South Dakota Board of Regents meeting on the Opportunities for All Center is taking place today and tomorrow. There will not be an FDA associate at the meetings to act as the voice for the students. The Senate's emergency resolution states that the SGA doesn't have confidence in the current ineffective and inactive behavior of the Student Federation and calls for immediate action to change this behavior.
This year marked the 50th anniversary celebration for the Center for Disabilities at the University of South Dakota. The organization was established in 1971 as part of a national network of federally designated centers. The celebration was held last Wednesday. The activities included guest speakers, pictures from the past, and stories shared by the first founders. Dr. Eric Kurtz is the executive director for the Center for Disabilities. He led the night off with a welcome to everyone who attended.
The work that the center has played over the last 50 years has been instrumental in being a catalyst for change in a number of those different areas, whether it be from looking at autism spectrum disorders to fetal alcohol syndrome to working in the area of mental health and making services available and accessible for people across our state.
For the past 30 years, the Center for Disabilities has been a leader in South Dakota in providing the highest quality, interdisciplinary, culturally competent, family-centered care.
Still to come on Coyote News, a look at the D-Day's parade floats. Stay with us.
The Media and Journalism Department has opened my eyes to a world of new careers and occupations that I never knew were possible.
I'm an M&J major because I wanted to be a part of something that is important, and whether we realize it or not, media and journalism is around us every single day.
The Media and Journalism Department has allowed me to gain pretty hands-on experience and jump right into student media activities.
This is Coyote News.
The Dakota Days Parade kicked off the day on Saturday, hosting the Dakota Days Parade Marching Band competition for high school bands. It started to rain shortly after the parade began, but Coyote fans weren't easy to scare off and stuck around. Marching bands from South Dakota high schools were present for the competition. The family of Nick, Jordan, and Wesley Mart says one of their favorite things about the parade was all the bands they got to see.
The bands are great, the balloons are great. We got to see Christy Nome with crazy sunglasses.
Bands that performed competed in several classes. The winners for each class of the competition are Gregory in Class A, Flandreau in Class B, Dakota Valley in Class C, and Coleman Egan in Class D. The parade also hosted a variety of floats showing off Coyote spirit by students and the Vermilion community. Included were floats featuring the top 14 candidates for Dakota Days royalty: Governor Kristi Noem, USD President Gestring, former USD President Jim Abbott, and more. The parade started at the Vermilion High School, went down Main Street, and ended at the courthouse.
The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe has elected a woman for its next leader. That's according to voting information released yesterday, but the results are being contested. If the results stand, Jeanette Alkire will be the first woman to head the tribal council in more than half a century. Alkire is a 15-year Air Force veteran and has served as Standing Rock's executive director twice. Alkire received 829 votes to defeat current tribal vice chairman Ira Taken Alive, who came in with 762 votes. The Standing Rock Reservation straddles the North Dakota and South Dakota border and is home to about 8,000 people.
The University Police were kept busy during the 107 Dakota Days week. Coyote News' Michael Stake is live in the muck with a UPD interim director to find out why. Michael?
Thanks, Sierra. I'm here with UPD's Bryant Jackson. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure.
Does UPD have different protocols on D-Days compared to other weeks?
Yeah, really it's pretty similar. The only biggest difference, I guess, is that we try and increase our staffing. So if people had vacation on weekends and things like that on a normal weekend, for D-Days, we just try and make sure everyone's here.
And during D-Days, do university officers spend more time watching out for safety issues or students breaking the law?
So, both ultimately, right? So the job encompasses all of that, but really the mission of UPD over Dakota Days really focuses on that safety and security aspect. We just want everyone to have a great homecoming and be safe while they do so.
And what are some unusual activities that UPD discovered this year?
I'll be honest, it was pretty tame in that regards. I think the most unusual thing was probably the incident that occurred at the OLC, so the fire that everyone saw. So fortunately, it sounds like wasn't as bad as it could have been. But some of those pictures definitely makes it look pretty interesting.
Lastly, does UPD officers follow Vermilion's Police's Twitter, and do you guys have any plans on doing something similar in the future?
So UPD does have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Big follower of the Vermilion Police Department's Twitter, so highly encourage everyone to check out VPD Live every year. And you never know what's in store, so stay tuned, I guess.
Thank you. Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Michael Stake.
Thanks, Michael. To see all the calls from D-Days, go to the VPD's Twitter page.
This Dakota Days, USD students had a new opportunity to spend time with law enforcement. The Coffee with the Cops event was held in the Muck Pit. It provided a chance for students to build a relationship with the police. One of the officers who spoke with students this year was UPD Patrol Officer Luke Kitzmiller.
It gives them a chance to come in, meet us, talk to us, realize, we're not just the people who go around and give people tickets and bus parties, stuff like that. Like, we're real people. We like interacting with the college community and going through it. Just gives us a chance to kind of meet people.
Officer Kitzmiller says the downfall was that since they're all cops, the donuts ran out too quickly. UPD operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is located in the Davison building. The cross-country team had another successful weekend.
That's right, Phil. When we return, Sydney will have details on those races and more. Stay with us.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Sydney Funderman. Over the weekend, the women's soccer team hosted 2 opponents at the First Bank and Trust Complex. The Yotes welcomed Summit League newcomer St. Thomas on Friday, but the welcome didn't last long as USD's Tiana Moore recorded a goal in the opening 10 minutes of play. Moore earned her first ever collegiate hat trick with a pair of goals in the 34th and 55th minute of play. The Coyotes finished strong as Alexis Mitchell found the back of the net during a penalty kick, leading the Yotes to a 4-0 victory. On Saturday, Western Illinois decided to strike first going into the half with a 2-0 lead. The Yotes battled back in the 76th minute with an Alexis Mitchell goal, but the Leathernecks defense helped them claim their first conference win of the year. The Coyotes hope to bounce back in Oklahoma against Oral Roberts on Friday. The USD cross-country team ran at the Briar Cliff Invitational on Friday. The men's team finished on top of the 8-team field with 4 runners finishing inside the top 10. All Coyote scoring runners crossed the line inside the top 15. Murga Gameda and Charlie Babcock had a 1-2 finish for USD, with Sioux City native Gameda gaining his first ever collegiate win at his home course. The women's team also finished the day on top with 5 scoring runners finishing inside the top 10. Ella Byers took home the win with Abrielle Jurley rounding out the podium in 3rd. After the weekend sweep, the cross-country teams are taking the week off to prepare for the Bradley Pink Classic on October 15th. The women's swim team finished in 3rd place in the Summit League last year. This year, they're hoping to top that mark. A swim team member is live in the muck with Coyote News' Michael Stake. Michael?
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here with Megan Atwell. So, how important is it that the season is starting a whole month earlier than last year?
It's pretty important. It's nice for us to get back to the regular swing of things compared to the crazy year we had last year.
And you're competing against Minnesota State on Friday. What advantages come with facing a familiar foe?
It's nice because you get the rivalries that you're used to swimming against. You know the girls, and you can kind of
Thanks, Michael. The women's swim team's first meet of the season is Friday against Minnesota State here at the Dakota Dome pool. The Coyotes claimed a Dakota Days victory against the Indiana State Sycamores with a score of 38-10 on Saturday. Coyote quarterback Carson Camp threw a total of 3 touchdowns in just the second quarter, with Carter Bell and Brett Sampson carrying the ball through the end zone. Nate Thomas aided the Coyote offense to 168 yards in the second quarter. The South Dakota defense limited Indiana to 205 offensive yards throughout the game. The Coyotes scored 2 more touchdowns in the fourth quarter, the last touchdown run in by Nate Thomas. USD had the ball for all but 3 minutes and 35 seconds of the last quarter. The Coyotes remain at home this weekend, playing the 10th-ranked University of North Dakota. The game begins at 2 on Saturday afternoon in the Dakota Dome. The Coyote volleyball team played 2 matches on the road this past weekend. On Thursday, the Yotes lost 3-1 against Oral Roberts, but they bounced back against the Kansas City Roos on Saturday, taking the series in 5 sets. Sammy Slaughter had a season high of 21 kills, and Madison Juergens recorded 57 assists to tie her season best. The Yotes will be playing St. Thomas inside the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls tomorrow night at 7. They'll be back inside the SCSC on Saturday morning versus Western Illinois and will be taking on UND on Monday. That's all for your Coyote sports. Coming up on Coyote News, students told us what book title fits them best.
There is so much more to media and journalism than just those 2 words.
It's really shown me things that I never thought I was capable of doing, and I'm actually not too bad at it.
Even though you think you may want to do one thing, this major exposes you to everything.
The media and journalism department has helped me turn my dream into a reality by putting me in the position to succeed.
This is Coyote News.
Have you ever thought of what title you would give to sum up your life?
In this week's Out and About, we asked students if someone were to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
Here's what they had to say.
The story of an average student? I don't know, like, I haven't accomplished anything yet in life.
How to turn 8 hours into 3, the Braden Butler sleep schedule.
The first thing that comes to mind is probably like spaz, because I kind of have like a crazy life. My mom has always called me that. I'm very spontaneous with what I do.
Josh Bolter, because that's my name, and I feel like it'll be like a biography type thing. It'll be like one of those like disaster documentary type things.
Like a deep dive into Jordan. I don't know, it's gonna be all about me.
Crazy hot mess, I don't know. It's all over the place. Parachut's crazy life, I guess. Because my life is very hectic right now and I'm going through a lot of stuff.
I think if it was a nonfiction book about my life, I think it would be called The Trials and Tribulations of a Teenager.
I would call my book Magic Dorm Room because I really liked Magic Treehouse, and that's what came to my head.
It would probably be Who is this moron and why is he smiling so much? Because I like to smile. I don't know.
I honestly don't know, but if I had to choose one, it might have to be Big Dog on Campus.
I think Chronicles of Phil would fit you so well.
Well, there's quite a few chronicles to be told. A rare and ancient toilet in Jerusalem dating back more than 2,700 years was found by Israeli archaeologists. The excavation director says a private toilet was very rare in antiquity and only a few have been found to date. Private bathrooms were a luxury in the Holy City. The Israeli Antiques Authority reports the carved limestone toilet was part of a mansion overlooking what is now the Old City. The archaeologists also found evidence of a nearby garden with orchards and aquatic plants. This further shows that those living there were wealthy.
Pick up this week's issue of the Volant to learn about a USD student who's officially a witch.
That's all for Coyote News. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Watch and listen for Coyote News' daily updates throughout the week, also now in Spanish on our social media pages.
Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.